Hi, this is Ms. Hum here, and in today's tutorial we will be looking at measurement tools. The different tools that we will be looking at are the micrometer, the vernier caliper, and the dial caliper. First we will look at the micrometer, and to start off we will look at the different parts. We have the frame, the anvil, the spindle, lock nut, sleeve, thimble, and ratchet. These are the different parts of the micrometer. Now that we know the different parts of the micrometer, we will look into how we use the micrometer. The line engraved lengthwise on the sleeve is divided into 40 equal parts per inch. Each vertical line equals 1/40th of an inch or 25 thousandths of an inch. Every fourth division is numbered, representing 100 thousandths of an inch. The beveled edge of the thimble is divided into 25 equal parts around its circumference. As the thimble turns counterclockwise, it is opening the micrometer, revealing more increments on the sleeve. Now we will move on to how to read a micrometer. The micrometer is read by recording the highest number on the sleeve. In this case, it is a 5, representing 500 thousandths. To this number, we will add the number of vertical lines that are visible between the large number and the edge of the thimble. In this case, there are 2 ticks, which represents 50 thousandths of an inch. To this total, we will add the number of thousandths indicated by the line that coincides with the horizontal sleeve line. In this case, it is 15 thousandths of an inch. Next, all that is left to do is to take all the numbers we have got from our readings and add them together to get a total reading. In this case, we will see that the final reading is 565 thousandths of an inch. Now that we know how to use and read the micrometer, we will move on to the next measurement tool, the vernier caliper. The vernier caliper is another measurement tool that is capable of reading up to 1/1000th of an inch. First, let's go through the different parts. Here we have the jaws that are used to read inner dimensions, such as the inside diameter of a pipe. Next are the jaws to read outer dimensions. The screw clamp, main scale, vernier scale, and the depth rod. The distance the depth rod is displaced from the end of the caliper is the same distance as between the jaws. This is a close-up look at the scales. The top one being the vernier scale, and the bottom scale being the main scale. The increments on the main scale are the same as the scale on the sleeve of the micrometer. Every one graduation is equal to 1/40th of an inch, or better we think of it as 25 thousandths of an inch. Every fourth division is numbered, representing 100 thousandths of an inch. There are 25 equal divisions on the vernier scale. Every fifth scale is numbered, 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. The 25 divisions represent thousandths of an inch. Now that we are familiar with the different scales on the vernier caliper, we will move on to reading the vernier caliper. This is just a close-up look at both of the scales again. We will get our first 3 readings from noting the increments between the 0 line on the main scale and the 0 line on the vernier scale. The first step is to note how many inches the vernier scale is passed on the main scale. In this case, it is 1 inch. Next, note the tenths. In this case, it is 100 thousandths. Then note the 40ths. As we can see, there are 2 40ths between our last reading and the 0 line on the vernier scale. This is equal to 50 thousandths of an inch. Finally, to find the remaining thousandths, we count the number of 1/1000ths graduations between the 0 line on the vernier scale and the line coinciding or lining up with the line on the main scale. Only one line will line up perfectly. This is important. Here we can see that the 4th graduation on the vernier scale lines up perfectly with the graduation on the main scale. This means that our final reading is 4 thousandths of an inch. The last step in finding our reading on the vernier caliper is adding up all of our readings. Our final reading is 1 inch and 154 thousandths of an inch. Finally, we will move on to our last measurement tool, which is the dial caliper. This is also the easiest to read. The dial caliper combines readings from a main scale and readings from a dial. It is also capable of reading up to 1/1000th of an inch. First, let's look at the parts of the dial caliper. Here are the jaws for the inner dimensions, the jaws for outer dimensions, the screw clamp, depth rod, main scale, and dial. On the main scale, there are inch graduations and tenth graduations, which we know is equal to 100,000th of an inch. Then there is a dial which indicates 1,000ths to 99,000ths of an inch. Now we will move on to reading the dial caliper. First, note how many full inches are shown on the main scale. Here we have 1 inch. Next, note how many tenths are shown on the main scale. We have 100,000ths. Next, note the thousandths indicated on the dial. Our dial is pointing at 85 thousandths. Finally, calculate your reading by adding up all the readings. Our final reading on the dial caliper is 1 inch and 185 thousandths of an inch. That's the end. Now you should be able to read a micrometer, vernier caliper, and dial caliper.